Sorry. Yeah, so my meeting starts in 2 minutes, so I was logging on. Thank you. Okay.
Hi, Jandy, can you hear me?
Oh, I should unmute. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Hi, Tim.
Hi, guys. Hey, Chris.
Hello, Chris. Hello, Teresa. Hello, Jen.
Hello.
Let's see if if I can get my face to actually show up. My camera to work.
Down here.
I don't know. Can you hear me still?
We can still hear you.
Okay,
Yeah.
just can't see me. I don't know.
What did you hit?
It says I'm supposed to be seen.
Guys, choose your background, choose your filter, video settings. Maybe you have to choose your video setting.
I'm actually gonna turn mine off so I can just be a fly on the wall today, guys.
Sure.
Okay.
No, you don't need to touch up on your appearance. What the heck?
Oh, well, can you deal without looking at me today?
Wait,
Yeah, I
choose-
was just peeking to see, because sometimes I swear I can tell someone like ask them to turn on their screen.
I don't know why that happened this time. Huh,
So weird, mister.
yep, don't get it.
Why is this not working?
I guess my camera's not working. I don't know why.
Wow.
Anyway. Okay,
More effective that one.
so it looks like it's 1 o'clock. So we and 3 of us are here. Oh. So I will call the meeting to order. And then I will ask Jandy, we have two members that have been appointed to the board. They have not been approved at the city council meeting, but I don't know, can Kimberly and Sean's, can you hear me? Yes, no?
Yes, I can hear you.
That's Sean?
This
So
is
that's
Sean.
Shauna.
Sean, well, it said Sean, it says Sean's on the. so
Yes,
sorry.
I tried to type in my name on my
Yeah,
phone.
sorry,
I'm trying to
Shauna.
remotely. Nope, it's my problem.
And Kimberly Gerard. But anyway, Jandy, I'm going to let you introduce the two new people to our board, if you wouldn't mind, please.
Okay, so I have that we're going to talk about that in the ongoing business.
Okay, well, they're here. Okay, you want to talk, you want to introduce them there?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll welcome them here, though.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll still welcome them to our meeting. Hello, Kimberly, I'm Brad. And hi, Shauna, I'm Brad. And Tim is on our board, and so is Teresa. So hello and welcome. And hello, Mr. Solberg, welcome. All right, so has everybody had a chance to review the meetings or the meeting notes from our last meeting?
I have.
Good. Could I ask for a motion to approve?
motion to approve the March 9th meeting minutes.
Okay, there's only two of you, but all in favor, I'll add my vote in there. All in favor, raise your hand so I can see it. Yes, okay, they are approved. Thank you. Okay, I see where, I'll ask for any public comments. Are there any public comments? I don't see any public except for Tom on there for us, and maybe our two new appointees. None. Okay, got it. All right. Madam Mayor, do you have anything to talk to us about today? I know you're a fly on the wall.
I'm here. No,
Okay.
actually, I'm just, and just a reminder to everybody, from my standpoint, I'm a fly on the wall of these things. I don't want to come off as trying to influence or anything. I'm here to help you guys. So if you need something from me, tell me. But I'm just here in the background. Thanks for everybody for serving. We really appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Okay, moving on. We have our reports. So we will start with Jen.
Okay, let's see, what do I have? We just hired a brand new position for a communications specialist. He started this week. We've not had the position before. He's also going to be the staff liaison for the very brand new communications, Community Engagement Commission, which had their first meeting a week or two ago, and they will have another one, their second meeting next week. So that's pretty exciting, getting them up off the ground and running to hopefully support the city council in the world of engaging our citizens in a multitude of things, in a multitude of departments and topics. So they're a little bit like you and the Parks and Arts Commission and the Planning Commission in that sense, but yeah, it's pretty neat to see that get kicked off. What do you want to know? Let's see. I don't think I really have much else. I'm here yet again one more month, probably
Okay.
into May, and then you get somebody else and shiny and brand new.
Well,
But yeah, I don't. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, I think that's about all I have in a nutshell. That sums up busy, city's busy. We're moving forward on lots of projects, as I'm sure you guys know, streets projects, lighting, road, street lights, bridge, all that good stuff. So are there any specific questions that you want to know?
Well, I have a question, since you said it, that only about another month. So there must have been movement on the timeline for working towards appointing a city or hiring a city administrator? Yes, no?
So
Yes, go ahead, Chris.
the application deadline is May 1st. We've had 2 or 3, but they said typically they get their onslaught the last week that it's open. So once they have those, and they're doing some background checks and preliminary stuff along the way as they come in, but we'll have a much better view of how many applicants we have and the quality of the pool come the 1st of May.
Okay.
Must be really nice having a professional company working with you guys on that, so you can do what you normally do and run the city.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, thank you, Jen.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I will, library director is next up on my agenda.
Mhm.
So Jandy, you're on.
So the biggest thing I have for you guys today is an update on our new librarian, our new teen and adult services librarian. Her name is Michaela, and she started yesterday. Yesterday was her first day. So she'll be working for us full-time, 40 hours a week, and she will be working a Tuesday through Saturday schedule. So she'll be the managing librarian on Saturdays. So we're really excited to have her on board. She's doing really well so far. She worked for the Post Falls Library that also uses Koha and is also technically a part of our cooperative system. So she's definitely catching on really quickly with all of our software and that sort of things. And she and I right now are kind of meeting each day and doing some training to get her up to speed on everything librarian wise. So yesterday we went over programming stuff, and today we're going to go over the collection, maintenance, and like how to order books and all that kind of stuff. So she's doing really well so far, and I'm really excited to have her. So I've been working on that with Michaela. Other than that, things have been pretty business as usual here at the library. I have a couple more really specific updates later on in the meeting that I'll get to as well.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so Friends of the Liberty Lake Municipal Library. We do not have a liaison for that group, but they have been very busy. And I have a person that happens to live here that can give us a little bit of an update on what's going on with that group. I am so sorry you can't see me. I have my camera says there's a green light in my computer. It says my camera's working, but apparently it is not. I don't get it. Darn it. Anyway, here she is right here. She's going to tell you a little bit about the Friends and what they're doing. And they've been busy. I don't have to move because you can't see her either, but you can hear her voice.
We've been busily doing some fundraisers. We have three actually going on all at the same time, simultaneously. That's the way we do it. At the library, you will notice a quilt that has been made by a bunch of quilters who are obviously very talented. And it's a queen size quilt, and it was arranged by Lorraine Halverson, arranged for the quilt to be made. And it's going up on a drawing. We can't say the word raffle. Anyway, drawing. And she wanted to do it so that people can buy tickets and have the opportunity to, and so the drawing will take place at the book sale, which, by the way, is fundraiser number 2. The book sale will take place in June, the same weekend as the garage sale. And we have it for 2 days, Friday and Saturday. Is that the 17th and 18th?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, there you go. And that's when the book sale will occur in the library. And we have a plethora of books, so we should be able to bring in a large amount of money on that. And we'll do the drawing for the quilt at the final day of the book sale. Then in July, on the 13th, I think it's July 13th, we have the soiree at the Liberty Lake Wine Cellar. And that's a huge fundraiser for us. And it's all sort of rip, snort, and good time. So we will have those tickets available with a QR code, because that's the way I like to do it. I like pointing my camera at something and buying things because I'm too lazy. Otherwise, hey, Tim, none of that. And so we will have that QR code available. So any person like myself that sees a QR code and just puts their camera up next to it, we will attract them. Thus, we will make a plethora of money. If you have any questions, feel free to ask some of the friends that really know what's happening all the time. That would be Betty Kennedy, always on top of things. Pat Scottum, oh my goodness. Let's see, who else do we have as author? Betsy knows what's happening all the time. Those are the people that you can, back into a corner and ask questions. If you ask me any questions, I have to ask them. I go, what? What did you say? Okay.
So when do the tickets go on sale?
When do they go on sale? That's a really good question. Golly, I'm so glad you asked.
Betty. That's okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll check
A
with
question too.
Betty. Oh, geez.
Is the quilt fundraiser posted on the Friends page yet, or is that coming?
It's funny you should say that, because I just got the email last night from Pat, and she will be posting it soon.
Okay, I'll watch for it so I can share it on the library page.
Okay, and I will tell her that. Anyway, I'm going over to the library today to sit there and look pleasant, to sell, raffle tickets. I'll try my best to look pleasant. That will be me over there, the pleasant face, waiting for people to buy raffle tickets. Over and out from the Friends of the Library. Thank you.
Andy,
Yes.
I did see that they posted the quilt in the community pages this morning. So.
Just this morning.
I
Okay.
don't see it on their own page though.
Okay. I'm gonna look at it on the community page though and see if I can share something with
Okay.
that so far.
Cool. All right.
Okay. They are a busy group and they really do a lot to support the activities of the library for sure. All right. So Tim, you're up for city council.
Okay, give me a quick second here so I can jump to those notes. The last city council meeting I was at, they had the workshop discussion on filling the vacant city council position number 6. That was on March 15th. I hope I'm not off by a week. I think we had an early one because we were anticipating the Zags playing on the following Tuesday, which unfortunately didn't happen. But I was very happy to see that they made a very good decision, and Tom Sahlberg was announced that he is their new city council member. Congratulations, Tom. The city's lucky to have you. They also came up and it was a very interesting interview. They had a bunch of people apply. There were 6 total. And then they discussed the trailhead schedule. That's moving along pretty quickly. I know that Jen and the team has been incredibly busy with that, along with Madam Mayor. And it's very exciting. And even though we had some delays, it appears that all the plans are currently on schedule. So we're expecting to see some more information next week. And I believe the next city council meeting, they're going to discuss who's going to be the restaurateur that'll be taking up that space. I think there's some news coming on that, which is going to be exciting to hear. And then some general business was announced, but I didn't see a whole lot more than that. It was the meeting was really taken up for the interviews for city council position and trailhead. And then they applied, approved a bunch of bills. That was about it.
Okay, thank you. And so now we are on to, unless there's no other comments, okay, we are on to ongoing business. So trustee member openings. Jandy, is that where you want to add some more
Yes.
information? Got it.
So we have Kim Gerard and Shauna Dean, who are going to be the 2 new members of our library board. They both did wonderfully in their interviews. Chris and I interviewed 4 candidates, and then from those 4 candidates, we narrowed it down to Shauna and Kim. So they are here as the public today, but they are both going to be confirmed at the next city council meeting on April 19th. So once the city council confirms both of them, they will be official brand new members. And so they will be able to attend our next next library board meeting
There we go.
in May as full official voting members. So I'm so excited to have both of them.
Well,
And now it's like, nobody move.
yeah. Well,
Everybody stay right where you are.
yeah, from my standpoint, it is very
Yeah.
thankful that we now have 2 people to fill out the board. So we now have 5 members on the
Mhm.
board moving forward. And that, as you said, I hope we can maintain that for a while now. That'd
Yeah.
be great. So welcome aboard. Thanks for volunteering.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Do you guys want to take Jenny, is there
Anybody
time
want-
for them to introduce themselves, give a little bit of background on yourselves?
Yeah, go
We
for
love
it.
you, but nobody else knows yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm sitting in my car. I have an appointment and I just figured I'd leave early and wait in the car, take this in the car. I am a recent transplant to Liberty Lake. We moved here about 1.5 years ago from Bellevue. We live near Meadowwood Golf Course. My background is I'm an attorney working for a library software company, not one that Liberty Lake uses. And so a lot of what I deal with on a day-to-day business at work is licensing software. I have a 16-year-old who's a junior at Ridgeline High School and a 19-year-old who is a freshman at Western Washington University.
Very good. Thank you. Kim, can you give us a little background on you?
Yeah,
Thank you.
I moved here in 2019, just before COVID hit. We moved from Alaska. We first visited Liberty Lake in about 2012. We visited some relatives and we knew this was the place that we wanted to retire. And so we moved here and then COVID hit. And I just feel like I'm sort of starting life here now as things open up again. I'm a retired educator. My husband is an electrical engineer who works at home doing consulting work. And I have a son who's a junior studying mechanical engineering at Bozeman in Montana State. And my daughter just graduated last spring from Gonzaga with degrees in biology and Spanish. So we're excited to be here. We tell people we came here for the mild winters. But this last couple of weeks, I'm telling my husband, maybe we didn't move far enough south.
Yeah, there you go.
Although today is gorgeous, gorgeous.
Yeah,
But,
well, cold, but gorgeous, yeah.
Yep. My sister's
Not
still in
cold by
Alaska.
your standards, though.
Right. My sister's still in Alaska, and I tell her in the springtime here with all the flowers blooming and the fragrance in the air, I feel like a Disney princess down here.
What part of Alaska were you living in?
We lived in a little tiny place called Chugiak, which is just outside of Anchorage. I was a teacher in the Anchorage School District for, gosh, over almost 30 years. I taught in other places in Alaska before we moved down towards Anchorage. So yeah, we raised our kids up there, and we knew when our son graduated from high school, that was our escape date. So many dark winters, and I'm just really happy to be in the lower 48.
Yeah, I'll bet. I'll be interesting talking to you. I have some ties to Alaska, so it'd be kind of interesting talking to you.
Yes. It's
Maybe.
actually almost every time I go out and start talking to people, there are lots of people with Alaska connections in this part of the state.
Yes. Throughout Washington, actually.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
I was taking an art class, and there was another student there who knew one of my families from my school in Chugiak. So it's
Wow.
just a small, pretty amazing.
Pretty cool. Well, welcome
Kim,
aboard.
did you hear anything from that school, the private school librarian? Did she reach out to you or not?
No, I haven't heard from her yet.
Okay.
Should I
Just curious.
connect with her?
I was gonna give, Chris, did you have a chance to
I'll
talk to
jump
her
in.
yet?
Erin was gone for spring break, so I'll ping her. She's very interested in talking to you.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Kim used to work as a school librarian also, and I had a school librarian reach out to me asking questions about starting a new library, and it's not something I had any experience in. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mailed down 60 boxes of my favorite children's books I couldn't live without when I left Alaska.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, I
Awesome.
still have teacher dreams every night, but I have started going through my books to donate to the book sale and coming up.
Cool. Well, again, welcome
Thank
to our
you.
group. Thank you. Okay, so next, you're still on, Jandy, State Library,
Yes.
correct?
So I went to a webinar on the Washington State of Commerce library capital improvements grants that they have right now. So this is something that's been going on since 2019. And so I went to their webinar and got some more details about it. It is for, I guess, high level, big capital projects. So I feel like it's something that we would use if we were wanting to do a large remodel of the library, or say we were building a whole brand new library. This is something that we could use, but not for something smaller level. Some of the library grants that I have been familiar with are things for like new books, or to like buy like a coding kit or something. So the grants I have worked with have been like very small level in comparison to this. So I think if this was something we were going to move forward on, it's something I would partner with Lisa Keys on, because I know she has a lot more experience with like big projects and getting grants for like our road projects and stuff. The other thing that I found at this webinar that I wasn't aware of before, that I think is really important, is that if you're going to accept this grant, it has to be for a new building or a building that the library is planning to stay in for the next 10 years. So if we were to do like, say, a really large remodel, of this current library and use that grant money, we would have to know that we would need to stay in this building for the next 10 years. So I think it's something we could use. It would just something that we'd need to do a lot of planning with, and make sure that we were, had long-term roots to be here, or that it would be for like a new library facility. You can ask for up to $2 million as long as it's with a matching grant. So say we asked for $500,000, the city would need to put in $500,000 as a matching grant. So I think it would be a great option for a big project. I know that that's what the Spokane Public Library is using as part of their funds, because they're redoing several of their libraries right now. So I know that they use some of those funds to help them fund that project.
Jandy, is there an expiration date for applications for this grant?
So it's an ongoing grant as long as the legislature continues to fund it. So they're taking applications right now for money that could be used starting in 2023. So it's like you kind of apply a year in advance. And they accept applications up through May 1st.
So it sounds like this is part of their biennial budgeting process as to whether or not it will continue on, possibly.
Yes, they said right now it's guaranteed to continue on through 2025.
2025.
They have funds for that through then so far.
Got it.
Yeah. So like I said, I just think it would be a great option for a big project. Some of the things I had in the back of my mind would be like for new shelving for the library or something. And it's not for that sort of thing. It's for capital,
Right.
big projects.
Got it. For big things.
Yes.
This is great info. I think this is something we can work with Brad, based on what some of the stuff we've discussed. I think this could also give some relief to the city council if and then when we go to them.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, so they said like design, architectural work, building permits and fees, archaeological historical reviews, construction, labors and materials, demolition, capitalized equipment,
Yeah.
information technology infrastructure, as in the cables and the wiring,
Okay.
construction management, like if we had a contractor that was not affiliated with the city, like we couldn't like pay one of our guys with that money, it'd have to be a separate contractor. And then it said initial furnishings of a brand new property.
Okay.
Or to buy real property if it's purchased specifically for the library project. So
Jandy, have you had any conversations? I mean, I know Jen's here and Chris is here. Is the council aware of this grant availability for us to access for improvements in the library or going forward with library improvements?
So I know it may have been mentioned when we were asking for the $100,000 for this year that there are grants available that would be like a matching grant. I just don't know how heavily it was focused on.
Yeah, it was discussed a couple of times,
Okay.
but I think that's especially with the new information, Jandy, Brad, if you want to add that to your presentation for next week, that would be fantastic. Let them know, hey, you were made aware, but here's some more detail. So I think that would be really helpful.
Right. Jandy, will you be attending
Yes.
when we give that presentation on the 19th?
Yes, I will be there.
I'll probably, will you mind if I ask you to to provide that kind of information
Yeah,
during the course of that?
yeah, of course.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, you still have some other things on your thing there.
So I don't have anything more on the state library grants. So let's see, I'm looking at the agenda. So the next
Laptops.
thing was the ARPA laptops update.
Correct.
So at the end of last year, we got money from the council from the ARPA funds. They gave us $5,000 to purchase some new laptops and hotspots and that sort of equipment for people to check out at the library. So we finally have everything ready to go. There was, like everyone's been saying, there was a lot of supply chain issues. So we now have our laptops, we now have our hotspots. We have the policy all ready to go that you guys approved. So my plan is on Friday to go over this to go over the new laptops that we have in the hotspots checkouts with my staff. So I'm going to go through we have a paper that the patron fills out with their information that also lets them know, like, if you never bring this laptop back, you will be charged for it, that sort of thing. So go over the checkout process with our staff on Friday, and then we will have those available to start checking out for the public on Monday. So we have some sets that are a laptop and a hotspot that the patron can check out together as a kit. That was one of you guys' suggestion, and I thought that was a really good idea because I had planned to have the laptops and the hotspots separately. But if a patron needs a laptop, they might also need internet access. So we have those kits that are going together, and then we have some individual hotspots that can check out just on their own for patrons to check out as well.
Hey,
Sorry,
Jen,
Tim, I
how
saw
many
you
do we-
raise your hand.
I'm sorry, I'm just curious how many we have of each,
So we have 5.
5 of each?
Yes. So we're starting out with 5 because the hotspots have an annual charge, an amount that they cost every year, obviously from the company. We wanted to see how the 5 went and how well they were being utilized. And if it's something that our patrons really, really want and they want more, then we'll order more. So we
just
have
to
an
be-
account with TechSoup to do those.
And just to review, how long is that checkout? They can check that out for just to
They can check it
reply?
out for a week.
A week, okay.
So they'll have the hotspot and the laptop for a week.
Are we gonna advertise this too?
Yes, so we're going to advertise it on our Facebook page, and then we're also going to put it in the May newsletter and probably the next couple newsletters to try to get the word out about it. I plan to also share it like on the Liberty Lake community page and that sort of thing to kind of get the word out about it.
Awesome.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Very good. Thank you, Jandy.
Yes.
Thank you for all that work on. the
I'm just
grant.
sorry that it took so long to get it rolling because this is something we started talking about in like August or September. And it was just really challenging to get the laptops and the hotspots, get our hands on them. So
Yes, been challenging for a lot of reasons and a lot of different things for sure.
yeah, we ordered a new copy machine for the library in August and we haven't received it yet in April.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah,
Okay, Jandy, if you're okay with it, I'd like to move the book reconsideration update and the collection development policy review up, and then do the community presentation, just review that at the very end, if that's okay.
yeah,
Is
that sounds
okay?
great.
Okay, that's good. So then if you could talk to us about the book reconsideration update.
Yes. So my first part of this was talking about where we are with our current book reconsideration that we have going on right now. And then the second part will be to talk about reviewing the policy that we have. So I wanted to give the board an update. Jen can weigh in if I forget anything. But at the last city council meeting, our patron, Ms. Zada, made a citizen comment to the council, letting them know about the book challenge, and she asked them to review it. And so I have been working since then with Mayor and with Jen and with our city attorney on the process, since we've never had a book reconsideration go this far in the process. This is actually our first book reconsideration we've had ever. And so we weren't quite sure what the city council component should look like. And so I had some talks with Jen and with the mayor and with Sean. And then I also reached out to the American Library Association. They have an Office of Intellectual Freedom, which kind of tracks all of these book reconsiderations for the country. and got some feedback from them. And then I also talked with some other directors throughout the states, trying to figure out what would be the correct action to take, because we wanted to make sure we're doing everything by the book and what needed to be done. And so what it's going to look like is at the May 3rd City Council meeting, there will be an action item on the agenda, and it will be an action item, and the City Council will take a vote to either uphold the library board's decision to keep the book in the library as it aligns with our collection development policy, or they will have a vote to overturn. Sorry, I was trying to think of what the right word was, to overturn the decision and have the book removed. So
Okay.
that's where we're at.
Yeah, no, Janny, I can't tell you how much I appreciate all the work you've been doing on this. I mean, you've really been spending a lot of time trying to get everything nailed down and make sure we're following the policy correctly, since it's never gone beyond this. As far as I'm aware of, talking to there was one other book review many years ago, but it never even got past the librarian. So
Yeah, I talked with
this one has really
Pamela,
gone quite a ways.
to make sure, because I did have some council members asking if we'd had any other book reconsiderations in the past, and I wasn't aware of any, and I couldn't find any in our files. And so I talked with Pamela, and she said she didn't have any that had been any formal complaints.
Right.
Where it was.
Quick
Yeah.
question for me is, are you going to be speaking with the city council members in a special meeting or anything to try and talk to them about the process, or at least give them the documentation that we were privy to when making the decision?
Yes, I forgot about that.
Okay.
So I sent out an email to all the council members, and I gave them all of the documentation that we had. So I gave them Erin's initial complaint. That was just the paper that you fill out in the library. I gave them a copy of her written letter to the library board. And then I also gave them a copy of you guys' letter in response to her. And then I also gave them a copy of the library's collection development policy, since that gives them all the information on how we choose the books that we have in the library and how we choose where they go in the collection and that sort of thing, so that they can take a look at this book and review it and see to determine if it aligns with our collection development policy and that sort of thing. I also gave them a copy of the Library Bill of Rights and the ALA Freedom to Read statement, because I wanted them to be educated on the library's role, which is to, not to have censorship and to have books in the library for everyone, and not just some people, but that we have books in the library for everyone, and not everyone is going to like every book that we have in the library, unfortunately. So I wanted them to have that education piece as well. So that's why I included that as those documents as well. So they have the history behind it and how that's something that the library developed after World War II and the burning of books and censoring during World War II. They didn't want that to happen here. So that's why those things were developed.
And I have a follow-up question, if it's okay.
Yeah.
Not to speak on the specifics of the public comments, but could you review with us? Because I know, unfortunately, the citizens only have 3 minutes, and that's really hard to get this much information in there. This is a very difficult subject. Maybe they should have had more, who knows? But the question, well, I guess I did. The question I had was, though, who can check out this book again?
So anyone can check out the book from the library.
Okay.
So anyone can check out any book in the library.
But it is cataloged in the adult section of the library. Is that correct, Jandy?
Yes, so the book was bought by the adult librarian for the adult collection. It's housed as an adult biography, since it is a memoir, in the adult nonfiction section.
I don't know. I have to go back and look at my notes. I thought there was some sort of a restriction on that from what we were told before, but I guess I have to go look at my notes on that.
Yeah, so there isn't restrictions to any materials in the library for anyone.
I have a question as sort of just a community member. Are there restrictions on internet use in the library?
We don't have any restrictions on who can use the internet in the library. We do have filtering on our computers, though.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and just for you guys, Sean will be actually leading the discussion during the meeting to make sure things are focused on the policy. And was the policy followed? We need to stick to that
Thank you.
conversation.
Thanks,
So
Mark.
I figured it would be better coming from him, from the legal standpoint, than me trying to get through it. So he's going to be leading the charge.
Thanks, Mayor. That's awesome.
I agree with that. Thank you, Mayor. I think that's a good call.
Yeah, and I'd like to add that I think Jandy did a fantastic job of informing the council with all the documentation she sent so that they are prepared to make a well-educated, well-rounded decision, whatever that decision is. But she provided them information on how to be educated. I was very impressed by that.
And so I have had some of the council members reach out to me, reply to my email individually to ask clarifying questions that they had. And so far, I have been very happy with the clarifying questions that I've received. So very good, well thought out questions.
That's great. Okay, and the one last thing is the new policy that you've been working on.
Yes, so since we had this book reconsideration, and this is a policy that hadn't been updated in a long time, I took a look over it. So I sent you guys all an email with the new policy. Sorry, I just want to bring it up so I have it here to review. So this is, I've been working on this policy with, I've had Sean look over it. I've had some other directors around the state look at it. And then I've also had Kristen at the Office of Intellectual Freedom look over it. I wanted to make sure that everything was by the book, above board, that we weren't cutting any corners or anything with that. So far, it's gotten check marks of approval there. Sorry, I thought I had it right in front of me, but I have the old one right in front of me. So let me just grab the new one that I have.
So really the only change, Jandy, is that the book reconsideration challenges will end with the board's decision, correct? It won't go on to the council. That's the basic essence of the new policy, correct?
So in talking with Sean and looking over the city codes, the oversight that the city council has over the library is primarily is financial. So
Right.
they have oversight on our the monies that we get each year for the library, but the say on the materials within the library and at the library board. And so that's the update. The main update that I wanted to make to the policy is that the book will be reviewed by the librarian who selected it for the collection and the library director. They will review let's see. So I'll just start at the beginning. So the patron will fill out a request for reconsideration form. I did make some changes to this form to make it more detailed. So it has them, instead of just having them put the name and the author and that sort of thing, it asks them how much of the book they've read. It asks them to write down any pages or selections or illustrations that they have concern with. They ask them to provide other materials that they think would be better suited, I guess, for the library if we were to remove this book. And then it also asks them what they want to happen, if they think the book should be removed, or if it's something where I think this book would be more appropriate in this section. Is this an adult book that's in the kids collection and we should move it to the adult collection, or that sort of thing. So they'll fill out that form, and then that will be reviewed by the librarian and the library director. and they will then give them a letter in response. And then if the patron isn't happy with the response, they can take it to the library board and have the library board review the material. And then the library board will have the final say on whether the book stays in the collection or not. I also added some more details as to like when the library board will review the material. So it says that we will, all of you guys will review the material on your own time. We'll come to a library board meeting. We'll discuss it at the library board meeting, and then the library board members will vote. And then a letter will be written and sent to the individual.
So Jandy, I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
Having read through this, the current policy has a timeline, 30 days, 60 days. Does that need to be put in this particular document, or will that be a part of the documentation is given to a patron if they choose to challenge a book? Because right
So
now, the current challenge, there was a 30-day response time when this person was denied by our librarian to challenge it through the board, and then the board had 60 days to respond
yes.
to the challenge. So does that need to be in this document, or is there another place that would be at?
So I have in this new document that once the patron makes a complaint, the library director within 7 days will send them a notice saying the library has received your complaint and we're taking a look at it. And then the library director will have 30 days to make a recommendation and then send that to the patron. And then with the library board, it says a decision will be made by the library board of trustees at a regularly scheduled meeting. And once a decision has been rendered, the patron will receive written notification from the board. So I don't have a specific time frame. It just says at a regularly scheduled board meeting.
Okay, so I'd like to ask you to think about something here. So if this person challenged it, let's say a week before our regularly scheduled meeting, that means that we would only have a week to be able to come up with a response, the way I hear that. And I would want to be put under that kind of a time frame.
So to me, the language that I have is more ambiguous, where it just says a regularly scheduled board meeting. It doesn't say the next scheduled board meeting.
Agree.
So in my mind, how I would see it is if, say, someone gave it to us 7 days beforehand, we're not going to get to it at this board meeting. We would do it at the next board meeting.
Okay, so I
That
see.
makes sense.
So what you're saying is the way you have it worded, we could put it on any one of our regularly scheduled meetings
Yes.
as a point of discussion.
Yeah, because that's kind of why I didn't want to put it at the next board meeting in case it was, say, like the day before,
Got it.
I mean, I
Okay.
guess an agenda would already be set, so we couldn't really add it, but just
Good
because it
thought.
just says a regularly scheduled board meeting, it could mean any of the board meetings.
Got it. Okay, just one
You can move.
clarification on that one. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, anybody have any other questions for Jandy about the, we as a board have to vote on confirming your proposal as a change in policy. But I think we should wait until all 5 of us are appointed, so that all 5 of us can weigh in with our vote on this policy. Is everybody okay with that?
Yes.
I am.
My thought process had been that we would put it on as an action item for our next library board meeting to
Okay.
vote on this policy. Yeah, when we have Kim and Shauna and we have our full board.
Got it. Teresa, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay,
And that would
Yeah,
give anyone time to make any citizen comments and that sort of thing as well.
got it. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you for all that work. And I mean, you've had a lot of work to do this last month and a half or so since you got back. You came back and whoo, talk about feet hitting the floor.
It's nice when you're busy, especially just like when I first came back.
Yeah.
Kind of like, oh, I miss the kids, but it's like, I have 8 million things to do. So it
Well-
keeps your mind active at work.
I'm smiling. You can't see me. I'm sorry, but I'm smiling because I can imagine how you walked in that door and your feet were moving from the time you first entered the door. So,
Yeah.
but I do appreciate it. That's all great. All right. No one, does anybody have any other questions for Jandy?
Nope.
Okay, so the last thing on our agenda then, before going on to new business, is the community assessment presentation. So everyone got a copy of that. I'm not sure everyone was able to play the videos that go along with that presentation. But if you couldn't, let me know. I had to do this presentation. I had to enlist someone else to help me because I don't have a PowerPoint presentation. As you can tell, my computer stuff is a little bit outdated because now my camera doesn't work. I can't see you. And so I had to get Bob Scott to help me with this, and he helped me put together the using the format that Tim had sent to all of us earlier, using that format and going back through and putting the videos to it, embedding them into the presentation so that it would come up when we talk to the council. So I have made a couple changes in the text per information that Tim sent to me after I sent it out. Does anybody else have any other suggestions for things? I found out the cost, Tim, was 31,000 and some odd dollars and change for this this assessment to have been executed. So I have that. We'll put that into our presentation so that they know how much money was spent on this. And then Mayor Chris suggested that I come up with a number for the total number of parking spaces, and I didn't do that. We just have a video of coming into the parking area and stuff like that. But I am now going to go down and count all of those parking spaces, and I think those are very narrow parking spaces. So I know they did the minimum to get us to squeeze as many in there as they could, because I personally like Costco's parking spaces. They're very large. I got a lot of room to get in and out of my car. But so, and
I'm happy to count the spaces for you too, Brad.
okay, great.
I'm happy to just go right after the meeting and count them.
Okay, that
So
would
you
be
don't have to make
great.
a special trip.
Well, Sue's down there. I have to go down there anyway. I need to pick her up and go. We need to go somewhere. But yes, I have some notes that go along with each one of the slides. I talked with Mayor Chris about this yesterday, and she has says it looks good to go for the 7 o'clock time period. So I think we're good to go during that time period. And also I asked her if she would make sure, and Jen, I asked them both if they'd make sure that the council members had a hard copy of the assessment so that we could refer to that rather than having referred to computer screens to look up stuff on a PDF or whatever it is. And they have agreed to supply that to the council as well. So
Sorry, of this, a hard copy of the
of the
slide.
assessment of the community assessment,
Okay,
the report.
okay. Because
Yeah.
isn't that like, I think it's a couple hundred pages long, isn't
Oh,
it?
it's a big one. But
Okay.
but yeah, you're right. It is. There's a lot of paper in there. But it's nice to be able, when you're giving a presentation, to say, could you look at page 25, and you still have people's attention and they're not looking at their computer trying to wade through everything to find page 25, that kind of information. That's me. I'm old school, I guess, from having done this from different groups over the course of my lifetime. But but they've said that they would have those community assessments there. So some that were already involved may already have them. Tom may already have a copy from his time in that, but there's a lot of new people that wouldn't have any copy. So they won't have to make 7 new copies for everyone, but for the new people, I think would be good. So,
Yeah, Brad, just, you know, on this, like you said, I know some people have it, so we're gonna send the electronic copy, then ask who wants the paper copy.
okay,
So some of those on the council who are much younger than the rest of us.
got it. Got it. Yeah, they can manage those things a whole lot better.
Yeah,
That's
same, yeah.
that's true.
So we'll
So
get,
I can send the digital copy to Kelsey to put in the packet.
That'd be
yeah,
great.
a link, yeah.
Yeah.
Does Todd have your electronic presentation, and we confirm that the video will be able to work during the meeting?
Yes, Tim, actually, I have gone down there with him. I gave him my flash drive and it came up, it works, everything works good.
Perfect.
On the system down there. I have to meet with Bob, which I'm gonna meet after our meeting here. Change some of the text that has been the suggested changes to the text and then send it off to him and we'll be good to go.
Okay, I know I've committed to being there to help answer any questions while you make the presentation.
That'd be great.
Teresa, if you have time to come or not, but some of the first, I think the first in-person council meeting I'll be at in a couple of years.
I am going to try. I'm in the middle of T-ball and baseball at
Okay.
the middle school, so it's a little
Okay.
hit or miss with my evening. So
That's fine. No, I'm just
Got it.
be there.
And I'm planning to be there. And then
Good.
we will have our appointments for Kim and Shauna. They can be confirmed in person or via Zoom, whichever they prefer.
That comes in before we do our presentation now.
After.
They
Isn't
will
the
after?
action items at the after the presentations?
I don't remember.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah.
Probably.
We'll
Okay,
be with the presentations and the workshops, and then after that, we'll have the consent agenda and the action items.
Okay, well, I'm kind of excited to give this presentation. It's been I know we've tried since it was since it was finalized, and then COVID hit and everything else has put a hold on everything. So I think it's good, especially with a lot of new council members and things like that. I think it's good to go over that information. And hopefully they'll be appreciative of the information they get, and we can move forward on how we want to address the library's situation. And I think some of those videos will definitely give the council members a view of the situation.
I think the timing is perfect. I know it's late, but I think with all the things that are going on, what Jenny's learned in between and all the programs that are out there, I don't think the timing can be better at the moment. Things happen for a reason.
Mhm.
Got it.
So,
Okay. Is there anything that anybody would like to bring up under new business? Okay, anything that anyone would like to bring up to put on the agenda for next meeting? All right.
So I will have for the next meeting, the action item to update the policy.
Okay.
Jenny, next meeting, we're getting a report from you on how the activity is going in the library. The activity levels, have the participation in programs, et cetera.
Yes, yes. So we'll have that with how all the programming is going as well.
Okay, cool.
That's great. You know what? I would just before we adjourn, I just want to say, Jandy, I don't know who does your is it your Facebook page or that gets the information out on the community page? But I've got to say, I really appreciate how that gets out to our citizens about what the library offers in terms of their programming for kids and adults. I think that's fantastic. I don't see how anybody can miss what's going on there, especially with how it's put out there. So I just want to say that I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. I
Yeah,
feel like it's been not as active since we weren't doing as many programs and stuff. So it's definitely going to pick up even more
yeah,
as we get nearer to the summer. And
Yeah,
Jen's
no-
always great about sharing stuff from the library on the city's page as well.
Oh, I think it's great. Does Aaron put that stuff on the social media pages for you guys?
So Erin will post when she has kids programs. Michaela will post the adult programs.
Got it.
And then I post any programs that I do or any other library stuff on there. So it's a joint, it's a group effort.
A joint effort. Got it. Well, appreciate it. Thank you.
I
All
think we
right,
all
if
need to
there's,
make a point- I think we
Sorry,
all need to make a point of sharing it too. We all have different groups around us, and we just, when we see them, we need to post them ourselves.
Yes, I always see, this has been shared by Tim Olson. And I'm like, yes,
yeah, Tim's very good at that. I
yeah.
It's
wish
easy to
I
get
could
it out
say
there.
I'm more in tune to that kind of stuff, but I'm not. But I do. I'm a troller, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's a bad word. I don't know. All right. Any other comments?
Nope.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Meeting is adjourned.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.